And despite there's obviously some transitions going on in China itself, these are positive transitions. You know, everyone gets concerned when growth slows. You should never be concerned when growth slows, because it's like a marathon. You've got to take a breath. You've got to pace yourself as it occurs. You've got to reconstruct your business. You've got to take stock of your business. You've got to challenge your business initiatives. And that's what I think we're going through. I'm always really comfortable with that, because when something goes like that, it simply means that the cliff is really high.
So a couple of things. I've got 2 more slides that I want to pull up, and we'll see if we've got time still for Q&A, because we've got, I think, 15 minutes left in this session. We've done a lot of work within the China research that we do in Bloomberg Industries, and we talked about a mosaic of change, of all sorts of initiatives that are currently going on. We would agree with your perspective in terms of you need to slow. That's another topic. This table, and it's a little bit complicated, and anybody can have these slides, or it's on Bloomberg after the presentation. But what this just simply goes through and looks at is the expansion, and these are announced capacity expansions, so announced hotels, announced tables, announced slots. And you know, $26 billion and counting, a doubling in hotel capacity, 75% increases in slots and tables, if everything were allotted over some period of time, okay? So there's some caveats to it. But the point is, it goes back to what I had commented on earlier with our outlook. You know, there's currently a drought in capacity, and there's ways to deal with it. There is an approaching flood of capacity, and it'll be interesting as well to see how you work through. And it's not all at once, it's progressive over the course of a number of years, you know, et cetera. But thinking about how you'll develop new properties, what will you be able to do with the new properties, you know, in the future that you can't do now, number one. Yeah. And number two, what are the risks to your existing properties once these new guys come? And it's all the bells and whistles. And I mean, you all are all involved in what you'll have here. And it goes back to, you know, the peninsula is not dead. Hit on these 2 issues, what you can do now, what you'll be able to do you can't do, and what are the risks?
I think what's happening now, specifically to the subject that you raised, Tim, about premium mass, is that a lot of customers are settling for capacity. They may have aspirations to stay at the very best property, or a property where they have bragging rights about, but now they're just settling for where they can get a room. When we open in 2016, I think that people will go where they love to stay, and I think properties like Wynn will fare incredibly well, just because of the amount of demand that we have now that we cannot meet. So once we're up and running, people are going to go where they want to go, not where they have to go. And I think that's an essential element of whether or not capacity is going to trump demand. So we feel we're in pretty good shape by 2016.
We have 2 more projects. The Parisian, obviously, is the bigger project, 3,000 rooms again. We think it dovetails very well with the theming resort that we have in the Venetian. So with the Venetian being the biggest draw for visitation, we think Parisian is a very good complement to that. St. Regis is a smaller project, but I think it adds high-end accommodation to Sands Kodai Central.
Okay, so they've got cute rooms, they've got cute things. Okay, how are we going to actually do this? The reality is that you talk about a flood. A flood is usually an unexpected event. This is not an unexpected event. We all know what's coming on stream. And I think what's coming on stream is fabulous, because to the point about the consumer, and the point to Gamal's point, it's actually giving a lot more choice. And as we know, that the one thing that happens is when customers get more choice, we have got to get better at what we do. And we all know we've got to get better at what we do. And some people, some organisations are taking the volume approach, that you just keep building and building and building, and if you've got more than anybody else, you know, you've got a competitive advantage. That's a good strategy. Others will build, and there's no question, Mr. Nguyen will build something that is absolutely kick-out gorgeous. You know, I had the privilege of working for him, and that's his DNA. That's why I'm happy to be at MGM next door to Nguyen, because it creates sort of a level of connection. Now, we at MGM also need to continue to do what we've consistently done is surprise everybody. Everybody keeps on saying, oh, people can't do things. You can if you put your mind to it, and you consistently focus on a very simple strategy about building out this portfolio, about working out what are the new consumers going to want. Because the consumers that we need in 2016 are not in Macau today. They're not here. So what we've got to be spending is a lot more time reaching out and making sure that the products and the services that we put together are actually responding to the rapidly evolving consumer tastes of China. And particularly, as a comment was made earlier, to the increased sophistication of the Chinese market. And I think that's really exciting. And that's exciting for all of us, because it's not about doing what we're doing today. It's about reinventing ourselves yet again for the future. And we have to, and frankly, in Macau, we've already done that 3 times. And so we're all nimble at it. We all get it. And that's what I think is really exciting about it. And to Gamal's point at the start, this isn't a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It certainly is for me.
Okay, so last chart. I'm going to shift forward. It's a map. And what you see is the peninsula up towards the upper right. You see Cotai on the middle right. You could zoom in if you wanted to and see the properties. But the big thing that we've circled here is Hengqin Island. Is it an interesting increment? Is it a strategic imperative? Or is it a distraction? Galaxy's obviously made an announcement of building a significant resort on the southwest corner. What does it mean for you guys?
It's all of the above. Hengqin is clearly an important strategic opportunity. At the obvious level, it's the recognition that the Chinese government is continuing to support the opportunities that Macau is creating, and that it's obviously creating opportunities for us to expand our base. We all obviously are looking, but clearly, like anything new, it just takes time to work through the details. Galaxy's made an announcement. I'm sure others will be making announcements in the fullness of time.